NBC Sports presents the American Le Mans Series. Today, the X Factor Grand Prix of Sonoma. After a 4-month break, the cars and stars of the American Le Mans Series are ready to return to action in North America at one of the most picturesque permanent road courses anywhere. We're at Sears Point Raceway in historic Sonoma, California.
Well, that's right, Martin. As Rick and Bill alluded to, there are now 4 of these V8-powered BMWs in the field, and that's double the trouble for the Porsche camp. They're still up in arms that this V8-powered BMW can even run in the GT category, but they are here in force. In fact, they qualified 1 through 4. The Schnitzer Michelin-shod cars qualified on the pole with Dirk Mueller behind the wheel, and then the PTG cars are here with the Yokohama tires. They qualified 2nd and 3rd. Billy Orblin doing the driving stint here in the number 10 machine. So there's going to be fireworks here this afternoon between the BMW boys in the GT category.
Ought to be a lot of excitement here today. Thank you, Calvin Fish, as the crowd continues to assemble here at Sears Point Raceway. This is a very interesting and unique road course in Northern California. Let's take you for a ride around Sears Point. Here's my colleague, Bill Adam. And a very high-speed racetrack it is. Let's show you the starting lineup for today's X Factor Grand Prix here at Sears Point. On the pole, the Audi, the number 1. Dindo Capello will drive that car, and alongside the 2-car, Frank Biela will start the other factory Audi. Second row includes Andy Wallace in the champion Audi. He qualified the 38 car, and David Brabham will line up alongside of him in the Panos Roadster that's coming back, the LMP1 from a year ago. Your 5th starter in car number 7, the first of the 2 Cadillacs, Emmanuel Collard qualified this machine at 108.2 miles an hour, and he'll line up alongside his teammate in the 8-car. Max Angelilli will start that other Cadillac prototype car. Row number 4, Frank Lagorce has the 51 car, the other Panos LMP with the big block Ford motor, and alongside the first of the GT machines in GTS, it's Terry Borchler from Phoenix in the Saleen S7R. 5th row looks like this. The only LMP 675 in the field from Dick Barber Racing. John Graham, the Canadian, qualifying that car 9th. And on the pole in GT, starting in the 10th spot in the 3-car. Actually, the GT pole sitter starts 12th, and that will be the machine of Dirk Mueller and Frederick Ekblom. Rest of the field, as the cars roll away, we'll show you starting 10th. It's Ron Fellows, Johnny O'Connell in the Corvette. The other Corvette, Andy Pilgrim, starts the 4-car today. There's the 43, one of the factory BMWs alongside Bill Auberlen. Hans Stuck is next in line in a BMW. J.J. Leto's 42 car, and then some of the other GT machines. And we'll take a look at the final 6 qualifiers. A couple of GT Porsches. Randy Popst will be in the field, as we saw a moment ago. Foster and Pabst in that 69. Collin and Burgess, that's a very strong team in the Porsche, the 52. Vic Rice and Robert Orcutt in another Porsche. And then the GT, the 15 car with Willingham, Wars, and McEntee. So we've got a great field of cars, I think, and we'll show you some of the vehicles that'll take us for a ride around here today. We'll be going with Lucas Luhr and Sasha Masson in the 23 car as they line up in the field here today. Today we've got a couple of rides in the BMWs. Bill Auberlen and Nick Johnson in the 10. That's one of the factory BMWs. Actually, Tom Milner's prototype group. The 43 machine, that's the other factory BMW. Dirk Mueller and Frederick Ekblom, and they line up in 12th spot today. And they will have a great run, I think, in that V8 powered machine. One of the Cadillacs, Max Angelilli, Wayne Taylor, will share this machine starting in the number 6 position. And the number 1, the pole sitter, also hopefully will give us some looks as we get set to go racing here. Bill Adam, 26 cars ready to take us around this beautiful 2.5-mile road course.
And we're watching. Pace lights are off right now. The car is pulling off the track. Watch in the 2nd row. See if the champion car can make a stab to try and get up the inside and break up the teamwork between the 2 leading BMWs.
Big crowd on hand here at Sears Point. Glad you're with us on NBC Sports, and we are underway.
Look at the phenomenal start there by the Panos. That is simply the torque, the horsepower of the big block motor there, blew by the champion Audi. So we have Yost cars 1, 2, Panos 3rd, champion 4th right now.
5th. There's a gap of about 14 seconds. Let's check in on that battle, though, for GT dominance. The 4 factory-prepared BMWs that we talked about at the top of the broadcast. Well, Bill Auberlen's at the head of the class by a good bit over Dirk Mueller and J.J. Leto. This is one of Tom Milner's PTG cars, so not a factory-run team.
Now, right now, they're winning the battle of egos between the 4 BMW cars.
As we take a look at your GT class points in the American Le Mans Series, brought to you by BMW. Sasha Masson and Lucas Luhr, Randy Popst, those are Porsche-mounted drivers. And Boris Sett and Hans Stuck tied for 5th. They're a couple of the BMW pilots, and they drive for Tom Milner's Prototype Technologies team.
Excellent battles all the way through here.
Riding with Alberlin in the 10 car now. He is 11th overall and leading the GT category down the front straightaway, which, as you mentioned earlier, Bill, really isn't much of a front stretch. You kind of create an arc out of the final corner.
The whole course is just one long arc. You try to go inside to outside edge. You're so rarely going in a straight line here. But the track is very satisfying for.
Back at Sears Point Raceway in Sonoma, California, the American Le Mans Series on NBC Sports. Today, the X Factor Grand Prix of Sonoma. I'm Rick Benjamin, Bill Adam alongside. Calvin Fish, Martin Haven on pit road for us. We've had a cycle of pit stops, not quite to halfway today. And here's how things stack up right now. Emmanuel Pirro in the 2 car for the Audi team is out in front. Tom Christensen has just taken over the number 1 machine that led early from Dindo Capello. He has fallen back off of those pit stops to 2nd. David Brabham, Jan Magnussen still 3rd in their Panos machine. Andy Wallace, Johnny Herbert sit 4th in the champion Audi.
The car will tend to skate. It just slides a lot more. Or depending on the temperature of the day, you may get more traction. You're never sure what you're going to get. It's one of the fun challenges.
Watching the Audis run 1 and 2, coming down the bottom of the hill, heading toward the carousel. Calvin Fish, is the team, the Yost team, happy with the strategy they've employed so far?
Well, they're allowing the guys to race out there, but I think what we're going to see on this final fuel stop is the fact that the Biela car, driven by Pirro right now, the number 2 machine, will stop earlier than Christensen. I think they were with a slightly lighter fuel load on the number 2 car, hence he'll be in the pits earlier. Then when Tom has to pit, he won't be in the pits as long. So they're hoping that that strategy will pay out, and maybe that's why Tom is being so patient right now.
Lapping by Hans Stuck's GT BMW, the new GTR machine with the V8 power plant. Some controversy, as we told you at the top of the broadcast. Here's one of the other BMWs with the V8, the 43 car, currently 2nd in GT. The team car, the 42, with Jorgmuller up, is leading that category. We'll show you more about the GT machines a little bit later on this afternoon as we watch the battle for the lead down into turn 11 here at Sears Point. And they have done a great job, American Le Mans officials, giving the privateer teams a little bit of extra incentive now, starting with this race. But let's show you what's going on in the GT category, the most populated category. 12 GT cars in the field today here at Sears Point. And there are the leaders, the 42 machine, one of the factory BMWs, the white car with the blue trim. The 42 car at the moment being steered by Jorgmuller. In that machine, J.J. Leto started the car. Here's Frederick Ekblom in the 43. They are 1 and 2 in that category. Tom Milner's 2 machines, the 6 and the 10, are right behind in 3rd and 4th. So here's your battle for 2nd in GT. The 43 machine with Ekblom driving, Hans Stuck in the 6, trying to get to the inside as they come up the hill. Not quite enough as they head toward turn 7. There's Stuckey, though, on the outside. Takes a look there, and he won't be able to close the deal this time by either. Calvin Fish, you've been watching this GT battle, I know, from pit road. How do things stack up down there?
Well, it's very interesting, Rick. The one thing that we noted on the final pit stop they made under that caution, all 4 BMWs came in, and only the number 42 machine of Jorgmuller actually changed to fresh tires. That really gave him some speed, and he immediately shot to the front of that pack. But I spoke to Tom Milner, who heads up the team PTG, the number 6 and 10 cars, and he said, this is very much like the Audi customer cars in as much as that they have 2 of those BMW engines come to them. They have BMW engineers stand there. They don't even know what revs they're really running. It runs much like the light system on the Audi that you've seen on the in-cars, where they just see the lights come up. When it hits red, they switch gears. So it's a little bit of secrecy there from the BMW official factory, but certainly got good power in all 4 of those cars.
They do indeed have good power, and I think that's one of the controversies that the Porsche people are really upset about this car, because the V8 that is in this car is not similar to any other V8 by BMW in the whole world. It's a purebred race motor.
Now, these are 2-door coupes, the M3 bodies. Let's show you how they all started. They started 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. And the 2 separate teams, the white cars with the blue trim, those are the BMW, considered the factory teams. The PTG cars are the cars that you see with the dark blue roofs. Those are the cars Boris Said, Hans Stuck, Bill Auberlen, and Nick Janssen driving those cars. So you see where they stand right now. Let's get a little more on the drivability of these cars. Martin Haven standing by with one of the pilots for Team BMW.
J.J. Leto, currently your car is leading the class, despite the fact that during the last yellow flag pit stops you came out in 4th place because Jorgmuller took on some fresh tyres and a tank full of fuel. Will this get you to the end?
Well, you know, it was just a splash and dash anyway, you know, and that was a good time to do it. But Jörg flat spotted the tires very badly. That's why we had to change them. And, you know, I was a little bit disagreeing, you know, the thing that why we have to change all 4. Why don't we just change the tire, you know, which was badly flat spotted? But he really insisted to have 4 new ones. And, you know, I thought that that's going to be a really bad decision, you know, because all the cars are very equal. You know, there's hard racing and it's difficult to get by. But you know, he did some brave overtaking, some brave brakings, you know. So you know, it seems to be that everything is going well at the moment. We are leading the race, and you know, he's controlling it pretty well.
Well, JJ was looking very frustrated when they made that pit stop, but you can see the smile on his face now, guys.
It certainly played out well for them. That 42 car, Jorn Mueller and JJ Lehto leading the GT category, and they're 9th overall. One of the Cadillacs, the 7 car, back on the racetrack now. That's the car that wrecked during the morning warm-up, and they put the machine back together. They've had other problems today. Wayne Taylor's Cadillac out of action. We'll show you that in just a few moments. Here's John Field in that Lola Judd-powered machine, the red and blue 37, the Banana Joe's car. Very strong privateer team. They've got a couple of wins in another series this year. Very strong here. But your overall leader, the number 2 Audi R8. That is the car with Emmanuel Pirot at the helm. Right at the moment, Frank Biela started that car. And we take a look at your overall standings here at Sonoma. Pirot out in front. You're watching the American Le Mans Series on NBC Sports. Welcome back to Sears Point Raceway, Sonoma, California. Coverage of the American Le Mans Series here on NBC. The X Factor Grand Prix of Sonoma today. 3rd round of the American Le Mans Series Championship in 2001. And these 2 Audi R8s, Bill Adam, they've just been dominant here again all day, gunning for what would be their 14th consecutive victory. Started here a year ago, did that win string, carried through Le Mans. They're just an impressive race team. Got a great battle on the racetrack, though, of course, in GT. We've shown you the 4 BMWs, the PTG cars, the American factory effort, if you will. The 2 white cars from BMW Motorsports Technology, the 2 German factory cars. Those are Orica-built Vipers, although
Yes.
Team Orica never raced those 2 cars.
Yeah, apparently they built a couple of customer cars. We asked these fellows about them. They said they were Orica cars, but had never been raced. They were brand new when they bought them, and they are just in the midst of developing and carrying on the tradition of racing Vipers, which, boy, were they ever trains when they were running here.
The Orica Vipers, of course, a couple of the dominant cars in ALMS in '99 and in 2000. Team Orica racing prototype machines now for Chrysler. They were very strong at Le Mans. We expect to see them over here in the American Le Mans Series before the year is completed. Here's Herbert in the 38, the champion Audi, moving through some of the slower GT machinery, working around a couple of Porsches, heading toward the front, he hopes, in the waning moments here. Meantime, there's the Corvette, the 3 car, leading in GTS, 5th overall. Let's talk to the driver who started that machine today. Let's go to Calvin Fish. Well, Bill Adam has talked about how much fun it would be to drive one of these American Le Mans machines on the highway. This is the Golden Gate Bridge back on Wednesday. Bill, you weren't in any of these cars, were you?
Geez, I wish I was. I don't think I'd even have stopped at the toll gate. You're so low, you'd have gone underneath the gate. And I am Scottish. I got to save that quarter.
That's Bill pedaling the bicycle that our camera crew was using, I think, there. One of the PTG BMWs there, one of Kevin Buckler's Racers Group Porsches, and a little escort.
Yeah.
There's the Celine.
That's it. You're speeding, fella. Pull over.
I think everyone was very careful to observe racing. Left about 3 more laps to go. Tom Christensen in the 1 car. He's about 12.5 seconds ahead of his teammate Pirot in the number 2 out. Moving by one of those GT BMWs. Nice and easy up the hill toward turn 2. What's going through Christensen's mind right now, Bill Adam? I'm sure he's hearing every noise that car makes as the last couple of laps unfold.
Yeah, I've noticed really his driving has only changed in one respect over the last few laps, in that he is a little more cautious going by cars. He isn't quite as impatient because he has the luxury of this 12-second lead. He still continues to circulate at a pace that's only about 1.5 seconds a lap slower. So he is not going slow by any means. He's still carrying a lot of speed through the corners, but just being very cautious, avoiding contact with lap traffic. I think a lot of the technology that they've been using on these race cars too has been appearing on their street cars, because you see them getting better and better all the time.
Well, Calvin, in his piece on the Audis a little earlier, talked about the direct injection they're using on these motors. Now, the champion team doesn't have that yet. They expect to see direct injection in the street car this year.
Yeah, great company.
A way of handling the fuel to the cylinders, very efficient. Team ready to celebrate. Christensen's fist is in the air. The checkered flag is in the air. And Tom Christensen has done it.
Wow.
14 wins in a row for Reinhold Jost's Audi Sport Team. The 1 car has taken the victory here at Sears Point Raceway.
And blast of smoke out the back.
I saw that as they came across the stripe. And here comes your GTS winner, the 3 car, the Corvette. Johnny O'Connell from Flowery Branch, Georgia, picks up the checkered flag, teaming with Ron Fellows from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. Another victory for the Corvette team.
Good job, Ronnie. You got another one under your belt this year.
It's It's been a big year for the Fellows family. We congratulate. Oh, and a spin, the GT battle between the BMWs, the 6-car, Hans Stuck battling with the 42 of Jörg Mueller. Stuckey turns the car around in the final corner. It looks as though Mueller will win the GT battle. Stuck may get second, but no. Dirk Mueller's machine, Frederick Ekblom, in the 43 car now will get by.
Boy,
there's your winner in class in the 42, Jörg Mueller.
That would be interesting to listen to that conversation in the pit.
I think there will be some discussion of that.
There'd be a lot of bleeping of that one.
Here's Jörg Mueller in the 42 car. He is your GT category winner. Of course, the prototype 675 victory. The only car in that class, the 57 from Dick Barber Racing. Didier Radiguet is finishing up in that car. They will finish 13th overall here today. One of the 4 factory BMW M3s with a new V8 power plant. The 42 car, J.J. Lehto started that car. Jörg Mueller will finish 7th overall and cop the class victory in GT for BMW. So a strong debut for that new combination of V8 motor, M3 chassis and body. Mueller grabs the GT honors here at Sears Point.
He too is one of the really, really fine drivers. I remember at the Petit Le Mans a couple of years ago when he basically lost the race. Oh, and as the Saleen comes to a stop.
The Saleen in GTS back in 16th overall. 3rd in the category. Looks as though they were having problems getting to the start-finish line, but the Audis dominate once again. We'll be back with more from Sears Point.
Well, it was Jörg Mueller and J.J. Lehto who came out on top, and really strategy with the tires there on the final stop. Jörg won you the race, I believe.
Yeah, never change your winning team, thanks to JJ and my team. I mean, we were on a different tire strategy, as you said. We put on new tires, and yeah, the other fucked theirs quite heavily at the beginning, so I could pass immediately. Also, thanks to my teammate and to the other 2 BMWs, I never had any problems to pass them. So, fantastic weekend.
Awesome job.
Thank you.
And let's show you what happened in the GT category here today as the fans enjoy lovely weather in Northern California. The BMWs dominant, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. The 2 factory cars from Germany, the 42 and the 43. And Tom Milner's 2 American factory cars finished 3rd and 4th. That will be a heated battle through the rest of the season.
Yes, it will. You know that Miller's not going to sit down, and even though the cars may be identical at birth, you always massage them. You put in your own little special tricks, and Milner has had such a good operation running over the last few years, running M3s, that he'll find something that's going to beat the European cars.